It's U of L Today on 93.9 The Ville. Here's your host, Mark Hebert.
And welcome to UofL Today with Mark Hebert on 93.9 The Ville. This is the show about all the stuff going on at the University of Louisville, all the research, and we talk to students from time to time and find out what events and cool things are happening on campus at UofL. UofL's Student Center is now the second largest building on campus next to the football stadium. It was a $40 million expansion and renovation, and it was finished this year, and Glen Gittings from Student Affairs is here to tell us all about the newly renovated SAC, as we call it. Glenn, good to see you.
Good to see you as well, Mark. Thanks for having me.
What's SAC stand for?
The official is the Swain Student Activities Center, so there's actually two S's there.
So it's a SAC.
Yeah, exactly. But there are many other schools, actually. I've been doing some benchmarking this morning, and there are many other schools that actually call their student union the SAC as well, so we're not immune. In fact, I was in Trinidad and Tobago leading a student group trip, and at their campus there, it's called the SAC as well. So
it is. So it's not unusual. So that's what everybody's called it at the University of Louisville since it was built. And when was it?
1990 is when the Student Center opened.
Okay. And it's for those of you who don't know, it's that building with the clock tower on it. As you're driving on the interstate and looking over on 3rd Street, it's the big clock tower building. So that's what it is. All right. So how big was it before? And then it took 2 years to add on, renovate, etc. So how big is it now, and how much did it cost?
So this cost $40 million. One key piece about this is no student dollars, no tuition dollars were used to fund this renovation. So pretty unique. We also stayed open during the entire time of the renovation and expansion. We added brand new, about 33,000 square feet. Overall, we renovated and expanded about 80,000 square feet. So about 90% of the building was touched in this renovation and expansion. Probably added 5,000 seating spaces into this place, 16 new meeting rooms. So what we ran into a lot was that student groups could not find space on campus to meet. Our Greek organizations usually meet on Sundays. Their groups were growing so big that they didn't have space, and there were so many of them they didn't have space. One fun fact, when I was a student way back when at UofL in 1995 as a freshman, we probably had, 150, 200 student organizations. We have over 450 student organizations now. Those groups need space to meet. So this space specifically was designed, one of those intentions was designed for those groups to meet.
Well, but they're big spaces. You got, 2 new ballrooms, basically?
Absolutely. So I'm just mentioning some of the smaller space, which is what we needed.
Right.
Meeting rooms of 100, things like that. But we did add some pretty prime real estate space in the expanded piece. So we've got a ballroom it's probably almost 10,000 square feet that'll hold around 1,200 theater style. We've got a multi-purpose room that is probably just at around 6,000 square feet. That'll hold just over 500 theater style. And each of those rooms actually subdivide as well. So you can break them up into 3, 4 rooms. All of it has built-in integrated audio-visual projectors, screens that come down from the ceiling, so no longer do you need to lug in outside audio, and it's all calibrated so the audio sounds correct in the room. So really, really neat spaces.
And when you talk about the new spaces, this isn't really new space, but the place where the restaurants were.
Yes.
I mean, it's not brand new, but it's basically renovated and gutted. And
yeah, that's the best way. I mean, it was taken down to the studs like you would do a renovation of maybe your house or something that's similar. So this renovation and expansion was able to happen because of a collaboration between 2 key partners. Follett, the bookstore, they're the main operator of our campus store. They actually took the bookstore that everyone's used to all the way to the east side, and they wanted an outward facing, connected to the street, so they could have walk-up traffic on game days and different opportunities. So they had a significant investment in the building that allowed us to do this. And Aramark, who runs UofL Dining, they had a pretty significant investment in the building as well. So along with major expanded event and catering opportunities, now we can run things just like any other convention center can. They also invested in the restaurants. So we have now an expanded Chick-fil-A. A lot of students love this place.
They do.
Full Chick-fil-A menu, including Mark, if you want to get the ice cream cones. They are there. And that place is busy from the moment it opens to the moment it closes.
It is.
We added a Panda Express. We expanded Wendy's. Papa John's is still there. You also have Sandwich Shack, pretty neat opportunity inside there. It's kind of a hybrid of an all-bon pan, McAllister's with Subway prices. So make your own sandwiches, soups, things like that. And then we added in a Starbucks as well.
I'm a big fan of the Mediterranean place.
Oh, Alilo. So that's in the Marketplace. So
Right.
Marketplace, adds alilo, which is a Mediterranean fresh salmon, high protein, almost no carbs, those options. You've got a burger spot all the time. You've got sushi every day. And you've got a salad, made to go, salad, greens to go, and then a rotating menu that happens as well. So that's been a big hit with students too.
And that's open to the public, so anybody can walk in there. If you live anywhere near the University of Louisville or work anywhere near the University of Louisville and just want to walk in during the day, I mean, you got the Ville Grill on one side of campus, which is, in my opinion, the best, cheapest lunch in Louisville. And then and they got what's in the SAC, the Student Activity Center, that you got all these options.
I always encourage folks to try the Ville Grill for breakfast as well. They make a fantastic omelet.
They do.
But we are open to the public. You've got Old Louisville just near us. We've got a lot of parents that'll drop by and visit with their students and dine. You've got a lot of conventions, meetings, conferences that happen in the building now. They will use the dining. So yes, it is. We are the living room of campus. Honestly, we see everyone throughout the community, and we are the place where the students study, eat, meet, and recreate.
Talking with Glen Gittings from the Student Affairs Office here at the University of Louisville. We're talking about the renovated and expanded Student Activity Center at UofL. And you talked about the Starbucks and the bookstore, which are on the 3rd Street side. So if you're a fan coming to what, like softball, track meets, those kinds of things, it's literally right across the street, isn't it?
It's fantastic, actually. It's great options for softball, track, field hockey, those different options. Even if you went a little bit further down for lacrosse, you could pop down. So you've got a full bookstore with snacks and a lot of other items for sale, not just books, a lot of merchandise for folks to grab if they'd like to grab something. And then you've got the Starbucks there as well. So that's a good thing that a lot of folks can pop over to during those games.
And besides being open, the restaurants being open to the public, are the spaces, like the ballrooms, open to the public? In other words, if I want to have a wedding or a convention or something there, can I rent the space?
You absolutely can, and we would love to have you there. Now, we serve primarily students and campus departments first. That's our priority. But then we do have the expanded capacity now with this new ballroom, new multipurpose room, and all the other areas to host conferences, weddings, other large-scale meetings that corporations want to have. And we have seen that already. We're seeing multiple conferences we've already held because now we have one big space as well as breakout rooms that they can do and keep everything in one spot. And you've got UofL dining there that can run all of the catering that they need specifically. So it's just like running anything you see. And we're seeing things come to us now. A lot of campus major events as well. We're even going to see UofL doctoral hooding come to us in December. So some
ceremonies and conventions, convocations, those type of things.
Absolutely.
Okay. And UofL has big events, and we're going to talk about one of them coming up right after you when we talk about the Raise Red, which is a dance marathon. Is that going to move now?
Raise Red comes to us. Raise Red was in the older facility part of the building last year in the
Cardinal
old
Arena?
intramural gyms. No, not Cardinal Arena. We still kept one of the neat things about this renovation is we added health and sports sciences, the entire academic department. They never had one centralized space for their faculty and classes. They were in an old Crawford gym, and they were in various other parts. So with the expansion and renovation, we brought their department faculty and staff to there, and they actually utilized the old intramural gyms as their daily classroom.
Right.
So that is where Raise Red was last year, but they're coming into the ballroom this year, so all of Raise Red will be inside there, and then they spread through the entire building. So they're there the entire time. Throughout.
Right. One more thing before we let you go. I know commuter students now have a place to kind of hang out and put their things once they get to campus, right?
Yes, there's a couple different spots for commuter students, and really we've really worked strongly with Student Government Association over multiple years to lobby for this renovation and expansion. And one of those components, and I also run the Parents Association, so we hear families ask about space for commuters. So we actually created a commuter lounge. So they've got a space that has a refrigerator, a microwave, seating areas that they can come in and actually make their lunch, and there are lockers in there too. So you can rent a locker for $15 for the semester and have it the whole time. So you've got space between those two areas, and then we added significant seating and lounge space throughout this. So we're seeing a lot of students get there in the morning, relax, study, hang out, go to class, come back for lunch, do some more homework, go to meetings for their student groups, and engage with the building almost the entire time. We're open from 6:30 in the morning to 11 at night most times.
All right, real quick, final notes to folks out there who are listening, just the general public about the Student Activity Center and just the whole feel of campus right now?
It's transformed. I mean, one of the neat things is we are 400 diagonal feet from the new Belknap Academic Building. So that pathway now it's really a corridor from that brand new academic building. And what we expected is happening. They are going to class there. They're coming right on into our building, hitting the relaxation spots, grabbing a bite to eat, meeting for their groups.
Glen Gittings, appreciate you joining us. It is by far the largest student fundraiser on UofL's campus. It's called Raise Red. Spencer Moorman is a social worker at the University of Louisville Physicians Pediatric Cancer and Blood Disorders Clinic, while Joseph Thompson is one of the student organizers of Raise Red. Welcome to both of you.
Welcome. Thank
Glad
you
you're
for having
here.
us.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Sure. Joseph Thompson, what is Raise Red for folks who have no idea what Raise Red is?
All right. So Raise Red is a year-long fundraising effort that culminates in an 18-hour dance marathon. We raise money, like you said, for the Pediatric Oncology and Hematology Clinic downtown. Last year, we raised over $601,000.
Wow. And so all the money goes to to kids with cancer,
Yes.
basically, to do research, right?
Yes, and blood diseases, correct.
Okay. And Spencer, you're a social worker. You work with kids with cancer,
I
right?
do.
And their families.
I do.
All
I
right.
have the privilege of, working on the front lines and, witnessing firsthand the good that Raise Red does for our clinic, for patients and families.
Mm-hmm. Is it the research? Is that what it goes to? It goes to research on pediatric cancer? Or for the day-to-day stuff?
It goes to both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 50% to clinic needs and then 50% to research.
Okay. So again, when you said it was an all year long thing, a fundraiser, but I've only been to the dance marathon, which is just this emotionally draining 24-hour dance marathon. It is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you do throughout the year, Joseph, to raise money?
Yeah, definitely. We have a Patient Pals program where we pair some college students with some of the patients at the clinic, and they have events all year round. So we have a gingerbread competition coming up here for the holiday season. We also throw a kid prom a couple months before Raise Red, so all the kids get dressed up with their patient pals when we go. Last year was held at the Gilda's Club, and we had an amazing time just dancing and partying, and we just throw a lot of those events for the kids throughout the whole year.
Okay, and then again culminates with the dance marathon.
And if I can brag on Raise Red a little bit, because having the opportunity to work firsthand with especially the Family Relations Committee, but actually meeting with the the sponsorship committee and the marketing crew, it's truly unbelievable to see how many students are involved at such an extensive level,
Right.
giving of their time and energy and talents in different ways, honing in on their strengths to really fight for a cause that's greater than themselves. And so just from my vantage point, actually knowing the families and working with the patients and realizing the good and the impact that these young people at UofL are having in the lives of others is it's pretty awe-inspiring. And so I don't know if Raise Red, will brag enough about all that they do, but they work on so many different levels, all year round.
Again, we're talking with Spencer Moorman, who's a social worker at UofL Physicians Pediatric Cancer and Blood Disorders Clinic, while Joseph Thompson is one of the student organizers of Raise Red. And it is a totally student-led fundraising drive, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have an executive board with 19 members. Our jobs span sponsorship to family relations to programming, which I do. I play in the 18 hours. And then we also have different tiered leadership under that. But at the marathon, we have around 1,000 student dancers that come and support and fundraise to be able to be a part of Raise Red.
So that's 1,000 kids, and there's 15,000 undergraduates at the university. So 1 out of every 15 students on the University of Louisville campus participate in Raise Red, basically, is what you're talking about.
Yeah. And it really has, I think, grown some wings over the years. Last year was bigger than the year before that, bigger than the year before. And so, constantly trying to reach other parts of the university, the athletes,
Right.
coaches, trying to get everybody involved.
Well, Spencer, let me ask you this. You work with the families and you work with little kids who have cancer. What are some of the ways that those dollars that come from Raise Red go to the help those families and those kids?
Well, pediatric cancer doesn't just attack, the healthy cells of a young person. It really is a family disease, cancer. It attacks the family's pocketbook. It attacks their minds, siblings in the family. It truly wreaks havoc, on the entire family. And so this Raise Red support goes to, even working families who otherwise, are able to pay their bills. A diagnosis like this is devastating. So Raise Red will, pay a mortgage bill, utility bill, stuff, even gas cards, anything to just help them, through a difficult time. Mm-hmm. Thanks to Raise Red, we've recruited Dr. William C. From Chicago, and he's now a part of our team, and he is focusing on bringing CAR T therapy to Louisville. So our patients that are in need of that treatment don't have to spend months, away from home.
Going to Cleveland or Chicago or Houston or someplace like that. Yeah. Joseph, what do students get out of this?
Yeah. So as a freshman, I signed up and I just did it because everyone was doing it. I guess one of those positive peer pressure type things. But
it worked, obviously.
Yeah, it became the cool thing to do, yeah.
But I didn't really know what to expect. And whenever I went to the marathon, I was completely awe-inspired. Just being able to go and stand and dance and be exhausted with your friends for 18 hours is one thing, but to hear the family stories and to dance on a team for a specific kid and to learn their story beforehand and to really understand why you're raising the money that you're raising and to become invested in a cause has obviously led me to the point where I am today. But I think Raise Red is one of those things that you can never get out of it what you put into it. You are always working to, kind of push yourself to that next level to keep going when it comes to Raise Red and raising money.
Talking with Joseph Thompson, who is one of the student organizers of Raise Red, along with Spencer Moorman, who's a social worker at UofL Physicians. And when I went, I think I've been to 2 dance marathons on the day that you released a total, near the end of the show. And I don't know if there's a dry eye in the place.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely not.
Is that?
I tell you what, there are a few times in my life where I've felt, that there is something bigger. There is a God. There, it's like a spiritual religious experience to see such goodness and like positive energy in a room. It's bigger than them even getting together for childhood cancer. It's just beauty of people coming together despite their beliefs or differences or what fraternity they belong to or where they come from, and to put that much time and energy and effort and passion into making a difference in the lives of others and to really be fighting for their peers, and to see them when they reach their goal and they put up
they
those
erupt.
Numbers, you can see the emotion and they, the relief and the happiness. It really is the most moving sight to see.
It is. It's very moving. And Joseph, I guess we're getting ready to wrap up here, but I guess we ought to get to how can people help with Raise Red? What's the pitch to folks out there who are listening to this and wondering how they can get involved and maybe sponsor a student or something like that?
Definitely. So you can always visit raisered.org, and we have tons of information about sponsorships or just even how to donate. And then if you know a student that's dancing here, then they'll have their own unique individual fundraising page.